The 7th Pan-African Forum on Migration has always been and is a platform for African Union member states and relevant stakeholders to discuss and deliberate on various topical issues relating to migration governance. The forum is yet an opportunity again for us to engage, to discuss, to share experience, and also to deliberate on this year's theme, addressing the impact of climate change on migration and human mobility in Africa, building adaptation strategies and resilient communities. As a continent, therefore, addressing the impact of climate change on migration and human mobility is a priority, and it is of utmost importance that we build adaptation strategies and resilient communities to cope with adverse effects of climate change. Let us use this opportunity, therefore, to share the best practices, to learn from each other, and also come up with necessary recommendations and strategies to mitigate some of the factors that contribute to climate change and induced migration at the national, regional, but also at the continental level for our economic and social development. This 7th Pan-African Forum on Migration comes at the right time as we prepare for the upcoming 27th United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Conference of Partners, COP27, that is scheduled to take place in Egypt. And it's my hope that the deliberations in this forum will be a great contribution to the COP27. A very warm welcome to all of you once again, ladies and gentlemen, and I wish you a very productive meeting for the coming 3 days.
This forum is coming at a time when the world is at crossroads in the context of what is happening today. We often talk about the triple C's of climate change, conflict, and COVID-19. Such a forum is more timely, and this is an opportunity for us to strategically engage in a dialogue that would benefit our people. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies and its 192 members, specifically the 54 African national societies, are committed to working with the African Union, the regional economic commissions, and other institutions and their partners in facing the current and future challenges through the humanitarian development and peace nexus. I thank you very much.
It's truly a great honor and pleasure to be part of the 7th Forum, to witness such a momentous occasion, as well as the opportunity to engage with experts on this critical topic of climate change, human mobility. Firstly, I wish to take this opportunity to commend the government of Rwanda and the African Union Commission for their leadership and unwavering dedication that has gone to ensure that this expert gathering is indeed a success. IAM is honored to have been part of this process since its inception, and you can count on our support going forward. I hope in these 3 days we will be able to deliberate, take stock, draw lessons, as well as document operational practices and lessons learned on addressing the impact of climate change on migration and human mobility in Africa, moving towards the building of adaptation strategy and resilient communities. On behalf of IAM, I applaud the progress made so far by the AUC with regard to the policy guidance and direction it has been providing to member states and RECs to address the nexus between climate change and human mobility, and would like to reiterate IAM's commitment in continuing to strengthen our long-standing and valuable partnership to provide capacity for the implementation of these policies and strategies to ensure resilient African communities.
On behalf of Her Excellency Ambassador Minata Samati Sisuma, Commissioner for Health, Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development of the AU, it is a great pleasure and singular honor for me to welcome you to the 7th session of the Pan-African Forum on Migration, PAFOM. I would like at the outset to thank the government of the Republic of Rwanda for agreeing to host this meeting and for their great collaboration with the AU Commission in making this meeting a success. We all know and appreciate that our continent has been prone to the impact of climate change and that has occurred due to human-induced activities. As such, the resultant of this effect on the development has completely affected our climate patterns and conditions. We continue to witness harsh climate conditions, including increase in temperatures, drought, and floods in many parts of the continent that has led to destruction of properties and displacement of persons. Climate change is emerging as one of the key drivers of migration in Africa. More so, the phenomenon acts as a multiplier effect to other social dynamics such as conflict, forced displacements, and food insecurity on the continent. Climate change has posed to evidently drive up to 131 million Africans to migrate within the continent. I wish to urge this meeting to leverage on the 7th Pan-African Forum on Migration to engage in framing sustainable solutions for a better future for all Africans, looking not solely into policy dialogues, but aiming at ensuring policy coherence at all levels in the continent. We look forward to the final meeting outcome, and we commit to support the upcoming PAFOM 7 chair in implementing the outcome as directed by the Executive Council in their recent meeting in Lusaka, Zambia.
The African continent is home to more than 1/3 of global displacements. Hosts an estimated 23.6 million internally displaced persons, 7.8 million refugees, and 712,000 stateless persons as a result of the underlying cause and challenges of conflicts, disasters, economic and environmental degradation. In recent times, the dynamics of climate change have reshaped our world and have become more prominent in the migration space due to the influence on human mobility and displacements on the continent. I would like to call on all stakeholders to actively work out strategies to effectively predict, prevent, and respond to climate change-related crises on the continent. This can be a pathway only when deliberate measures are implemented to strengthen the primary and central role of the African Union and member states to initiate responses to and manage effectively migration and climate change needs on the continent.
Senegal has chaired our forum, the 6th PAFOM. During this session, Senegal was plead for labor migration, but this chairmanship faces some difficulties linked to the COVID, countries getting out from COVID, but also countries facing some economic difficulties.
It's an absolute pleasure and honor on behalf of the government of Rwanda to welcome you all to Kigali. I know many of you have already visited Kigali, so welcome back home. And for those it's the first time here, welcome to Kigali, the land of 1,000 miles or the 1,000 smiles, as they say. So the government of Rwanda is really honored to host the 7th Pan-African Forum on Migration, and we really hope that the deliberation today will enable us to have concrete resolutions to build better and more resilient communities. Looking at this year's theme, as many before me have said, it is a topic of great importance as our population are the most vulnerable to the impact of climate change. And the fact that this is happening here in Rwanda is a true testament of our commitment to address these issues that are not confined by borders. So let's use this opportunity to strengthen our collaborations as a continent and develop strategies that work for us. It is essential that we prioritize these discussions and align ourselves as the EU member states. Ladies and gentlemen, climate change continues to induce migration and human mobility on our continent and is expected to increase due to diverse effects of climate change. These links as they have been saying, they are not only evident, but they have terrible humanitarian implications. We can't pretend that it's not happening anymore. Droughts, floods, and landslides are the deadliest hazard in Africa and across the world. They cause injury, they damage public goods, they destruct productive land, all of which have long-term economic impacts. So there is really an urgent need to take risk reduction measures to help communities build more resilience to climate shocks. So strengthening community resilience will require a lot of collaboration, not only looking at climate hazard, but also looking at the local topography conditions at the same time. Building climate resilience is best done by designing and implementing solutions in an integrated manner, using not only hard infrastructure measures, but also nature-based solutions, as well as governance solutions and community-based practices. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, let me take this opportunity to thank the African Union Commission for organizing this forum. Thank you so much, and thank you all of you present here for honoring the invitation. With these few remarks, I declare this session of senior officials officially open and wish you fruitful deliberation. Thank you so much for your kind attention.